India's story is one of the grandest epics in human history, a journey that begins deep in the mists of time. It is a tale of incredible resilience, profound ideas, and a diversity that is simply staggering. For thousands of years, this vast subcontinent has been a crucible of cultures, a birthplace of religions, and a powerhouse of innovation. From the first planned cities on Earth to the complexities of modern democracy, India's journey is not just the history of a nation, but a vital chapter in the story of humanity itself. Its spirit is woven from countless threads of language, faith, and tradition, creating a fabric of unparalleled richness and strength that continues to captivate the world. Imagine, if you will, traveling back over 4,500 years. Here, in the fertile plains of the Indus River, we find one of the world's first great urban civilizations. The people of the Indus Valley, sometimes called the Harappans, were master builders and brilliant city planners. Their cities, like Mohenjo-daro and Harappa, were marvels of engineering, laid out on a precise grid system. They had sophisticated drainage and sanitation systems that were centuries ahead of their time, with houses equipped with their own bathrooms and wells. This level of organization speaks of a society with a strong, centralized governance and a deep understanding of urban living, a true testament to their ingenuity. The Indus Valley Civilization was also a hub of trade and commerce, its influence stretching far and wide. Archaeologists have discovered their distinctive seals and pottery in far-off lands like Mesopotamia, which is modern-day Iraq, proving that these ancient people were part of a vast international trading network. They traded goods like cotton textiles, precious beads, and timber. Yet, despite their incredible achievements, much about them remains a mystery. We have not yet deciphered their elegant script, a series of symbols that holds the key to understanding their beliefs, their government, and their daily lives. The silence of their written language makes their magnificent ruins all the more fascinating. What became of these remarkable people? Around 1900 BC, their great cities began to decline. The reasons are still debated by historians and archaeologists. Some suggest that climate change, perhaps the shifting course of rivers or prolonged drought, made agriculture unsustainable. Others point to possible invasions or a slow internal collapse. Whatever the cause, the Indus Valley Civilization faded, but it did not completely disappear. Its legacy seeped into the soil of India, its ideas and perhaps even its people merging with the new cultures that would rise in the centuries to follow, leaving an indelible, though subtle, mark on the future of the subcontinent. Following the decline of the Indus cities, a new chapter began in India's story, known as the Vedic Age. This period is named after the Vedas, a collection of ancient and sacred texts composed in Sanskrit. These are some of the oldest scriptures in the world, filled with hymns, prayers, and philosophical treatises. They were not written down for centuries, but were passed down orally from one generation of priests to the next, with incredible accuracy. The Vedas give us a glimpse into the society of the time, a world of nomadic pastoralists who valued cattle, performed elaborate fire rituals, and revered a pantheon of gods representing natural forces like the sun, wind, and fire. As these communities settled in the Gangetic Plains, society became more structured and complex. This era laid the foundations for many core tenets of Indian culture and philosophy. The ideas within the later Vedas, particularly the Upanishads, explored profound questions about reality, the self, and the ultimate universal spirit, Brahman. This was also the period where the social hierarchy known as the caste system, or Varna system, began to take shape, dividing society into priests, warriors, merchants, and laborers. This structure, though it would change and become more rigid over time, started as a way to organize society during this formative age. By the 6th century BC, the subcontinent was a patchwork of 16 major kingdoms and republics, all vying for power. It was a time of great intellectual and spiritual ferment, a crucible of new ideas. Two individuals from this era would go on to shape the spiritual landscape of Asia and the world. The first was Siddhartha Gautama, a prince who renounced his wealth to seek enlightenment. After years of meditation, he became the Buddha, the Enlightened One, and his teachings on compassion and the path to ending suffering gave birth to Buddhism, a faith that would spread across the continent. Around the same time, another great teacher, Mahavira, also preached a message of peace and non-violence. He revitalized the ancient Jain tradition, emphasizing that all living beings have a soul and should be treated with utmost respect. The philosophies of Buddhism and Jainism offered new paths to spiritual fulfillment, challenging some of the existing Vedic rituals. This period of intense questioning and spiritual awakening set the stage for the rise of India's first great empire, the Maurya Empire, which would unite much of the subcontinent under a single, powerful rule and further patronize these new and influential faiths. After the fragmentation of the Mauryan Empire, India saw the rise and fall of various regional kingdoms. It was not until the 4th century AD that another great empire emerged, bringing a period of remarkable peace, prosperity, and cultural efflorescence. This was the Gupta Empire, founded by Chandragupta I. Under rulers like Samudragupta and Chandragupta II, the empire expanded to cover a vast swathe of northern India. This era, often celebrated as India's Golden Age, was a time of extraordinary achievements in science, mathematics, art, literature, and philosophy, creating a cultural legacy that would resonate for centuries to come. The Gupta period was a time of incredible intellectual breakthroughs. It was during this era that Indian mathematicians made revolutionary advances. The concept of zero as a number, a truly groundbreaking idea that would transform mathematics forever, was developed and refined. Indian astronomers proposed that the Earth was a sphere that rotated on its own axis and revolved around the Sun, ideas that were astonishingly ahead of their time. The great mathematician and astronomer Aryabhata, who lived during this period, calculated the value of pi with remarkable accuracy and determined the length of the solar year, showcasing the sophisticated scientific thought that flourished under Gupta patronage. This golden age was also marked by an explosion of artistic and literary creativity. The artists of the Gupta era created sculptures of breathtaking beauty and grace, particularly the serene and spiritually profound images of the Buddha found at sites like Sarnath. The cave paintings at Ajanta, with their vibrant colors and detailed depictions of life, are masterpieces of world art. In the literary world, the great poet and playwright Kalidasa composed his timeless works, such as the play Shakuntala, which are still celebrated for their lyrical beauty and emotional depth. The Sanskrit language was perfected, becoming the vehicle for these sublime artistic and philosophical expressions. The prosperity of the Gupta Empire was built on a foundation of thriving trade, both within the subcontinent and with distant lands like Rome, Southeast Asia, and China. The administration was efficient, allowing for peace and stability that encouraged learning and the arts to flourish. Hindu traditions were also revived and codified during this time, with many of the major Puranas being written and the grand temples being constructed. Though the Gupta Empire eventually declined due to internal weaknesses and invasions from the Hunas of Central Asia, its legacy was indelible. It had set a standard for culture, science, and governance that would inspire Indian civilization for 1,000 years. After the decline of the Guptas, India's political landscape once again became a rich and complex tapestry of regional kingdoms. In the south, the Chola dynasty emerged as a formidable maritime power. The Cholas were not just mighty warriors, they were also master administrators and builders. Their influence, powered by a powerful navy, extended across the Indian Ocean to Southeast Asia. They left behind some of the most magnificent temples in all of India, such as the Brihadiswara temple in Thanjavur, a towering monument of granite that stands as a testament to their engineering prowess and their deep devotion to the god Shiva. Their bronze sculptures from this period are considered among the finest works of art ever created. Beginning in the 11th and 12th centuries, a new force began to shape the destiny of northern India. Turkic invaders from Central Asia swept down into the subcontinent, bringing with them a new religion, Islam. These conquests culminated in the establishment of the Delhi Sultanate in 1206. For the next 300 years, a succession of 5 dynasties ruled from Delhi, creating a unique synthesis of Persian and Indian cultures. This period was often marked by conflict, but it was also a time of significant cultural exchange. New styles of architecture, music, and literature emerged, blending traditions from the Islamic world with those of the Indian subcontinent. The Delhi Sultanate eventually gave way to an even grander and more powerful empire. In 1526, a Central Asian prince named Babur, a descendant of both Timur and Genghis Khan, established the Mughal Empire. Under a series of brilliant rulers like Akbar, Jahangir, Shah Jahan, and Aurangzeb, the Mughals consolidated their rule over almost the entire subcontinent. The Mughal era is remembered for its administrative genius, its immense wealth, and above all, its spectacular architectural achievements. It was a period of great artistic patronage, where painters, poets, and musicians thrived in the opulent imperial courts, creating a legacy of unparalleled splendor. The Mughals were master builders, and their architectural legacy is one of India's greatest treasures. Emperor Akbar's policy of religious tolerance fostered a unique blend of Hindu and Islamic styles, visible in the Grand Fort Palace of Fatehpur Sikri. His grandson, Shah Jahan, had a passion for architecture that resulted in the creation of one of the world's most beautiful buildings, the Taj Mahal. This exquisite mausoleum of white marble, built in memory of his beloved wife Mumtaz Mahal, is the perfect symbol of the Mughal Empire's artistic zenith. It stands today as an enduring monument to love and a masterpiece of world architecture, embodying the cultural fusion of the age. By the 17th century, European traders, drawn by the lure of spices and textiles, began to establish trading posts along India's coasts. Among them, the British East India Company proved to be the most ambitious. What started as a commercial enterprise slowly transformed into a political one. Through a clever mix of diplomacy, alliances, and military force, the company gradually expanded its control, exploiting the rivalries between Indian princes. The Battle of Plassey in 1757 is often seen as the pivotal moment, marking the beginning of British dominance. Over the next century, the company's power grew until it was the de facto ruler of vast parts of India. The year 1857 brought a dramatic and violent turning point. A massive rebellion, known in India as the First War of Independence and in Britain as the Sepoy Mutiny, erupted across northern India. Though the uprising was ultimately suppressed, it shook the foundations of British power and led to the end of the East India Company's rule. The British Crown took direct control, and India officially became a part of the British Empire, ruled by a viceroy. This period, known as the British Raj, brought significant changes, including the construction of railways, a unified legal system, and the introduction of English education. But it was also a time of economic exploitation and racial discrimination. The desire for freedom grew steadily throughout the late 19th and early 20th centuries. The Indian National Congress was formed, initially to seek more rights for Indians within the British system, but it gradually evolved into a movement for complete independence. The struggle was defined by the arrival of one of history's most iconic figures, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, known as the Mahatma, or Great Soul. Gandhi introduced a revolutionary method of resistance, satyagraha, or non-violent civil disobedience. His philosophy of peaceful protest inspired millions, and his leadership of movements like the Salt March and the Quit India movement galvanized the nation against colonial rule. Finally, after decades of struggle and sacrifice by countless freedom fighters like Jawaharlal Nehru, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, and Subhas Chandra Bose, a war-weary Britain agreed to grant India its independence. However, the joy of freedom was tragically marred. The British decided to partition the subcontinent along religious lines, creating the new nation of Pakistan. The partition in August 1947 unleashed horrific violence as millions of Hindus, Sikhs and Muslims were displaced in one of the largest and most painful migrations in human history. India was finally free, but it was born amidst the profound sorrow and trauma of partition. With independence achieved, India's leaders faced the monumental task of building a new nation from the ashes of colonial rule and the trauma of partition. Their first and most important goal was to create a guiding framework for the country. Under the brilliant leadership of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, a team of visionaries drafted one of the world's longest and most detailed constitutions. Adopted on January 26, 1950, it declared India a sovereign, socialist, secular and democratic republic, guaranteeing fundamental rights like equality, freedom of speech and religious freedom to all its citizens. This document became the bedrock of modern India, a promise of justice and liberty for all. The Constitution established a parliamentary democracy, a bold and ambitious experiment in a country that was overwhelmingly poor and illiterate at the time. Many in the world were skeptical, but India proved them wrong. It successfully held its first general election in 1951-52, an enormous logistical feat that established its credentials as the world's largest democracy. Under its first Prime Minister, Jawaharlal Nehru, India embarked on a path of planned economic development, focusing on building industries, dams, and scientific institutions. Nehru's vision was to create a modern, self-reliant nation that held a non-aligned position in the Cold War politics of the time. The decades that followed were a period of steady progress and immense challenges. India fought wars with its neighbors, faced famines, and grappled with deep-seated poverty and social inequality. However, it also made remarkable strides. The Green Revolution in the 1960s and 70s transformed the country from a food-deficient nation to a self-sufficient one, a monumental achievement that saved millions of lives. The nation invested heavily in higher education, particularly in science and technology, creating world-class institutions like the Indian Institutes of Technology, which would later fuel its rise as a tech powerhouse. In the early 1990s, India initiated major economic reforms, opening up its economy to the world. This liberalization unleashed a new era of rapid economic growth, lifting millions out of poverty and creating a burgeoning middle class. The country became a global leader in information technology and software services, with cities like Bangalore and Hyderabad becoming synonymous with innovation. Alongside its economic rise, India also asserted itself as a spacefaring and nuclear power, demonstrating its scientific and technological prowess on the world stage. The journey from a newly independent nation to a modern, dynamic economy is a story of incredible determination and resilience. Today, on the 4th of July 2026, India stands as a vibrant, complex, and influential nation, a place where ancient traditions and futuristic ambitions coexist in a dazzling display. Its cultural heritage is one of the richest and most diverse on the planet. It is a land of over 1 billion people who speak hundreds of languages and dialects, practice a multitude of faiths, and celebrate a kaleidoscope of festivals. From the colorful spectacle of Holi to the luminous beauty of Diwali, these festivals are the lifeblood of the nation, binding communities together in a shared sense of joy and celebration. This incredible diversity is India's greatest strength. The cultural tapestry of India is also woven with the threads of its world-renowned cuisine and its globally influential film industry. Indian food, with its sophisticated use of spices and its vast regional variations, has been exported to every corner of the globe. Each region offers a unique culinary journey, from the rich curries of the north to the coconut-based dishes of the south. At the same time, Bollywood, the Hindi-language film industry based in Mumbai, produces more films than any other country. Its vibrant song and dance sequences and epic storylines have captured the imaginations of audiences worldwide, making it a powerful vehicle of India's soft power. India's epic journey, from the ancient cities of the Indus Valley, through the rise and fall of mighty empires, the struggle for freedom, and the building of a modern democracy, is a story of profound significance. It is a testament to the enduring power of ideas, the resilience of its people, and the capacity for change and adaptation. India's contributions to the world, from the concept of zero to the philosophy of non-violence, have shaped human history in fundamental ways. Its ancient wisdom, found in yoga and meditation, continues to offer pathways to well-being for people across the world. As India navigates the 21st century, it carries the weight of its history and the promise of its future. It grapples with challenges of development, inequality, and environmental sustainability, yet it also surges forward as a major global power, a leader in technology, and a guardian of a deep and ancient heritage. Its story is far from over. The journey of this incredible civilization, a mosaic of 1 billion dreams and a testament to the enduring spirit of humanity, continues to unfold, promising to be one of the defining stories of our time. India's place in the modern world is not just that of a nation-state, but of a living, breathing civilization that continues to enrich the world.